That's a weird note. Futuristic movie where men evolve to no nipples and no pinky toes on humans.
That's the plot of the entire movie.
That's something. I don't know. I made that note.
Would you?
It's kind of a weird thought that I have. Is like I think that men are evolving.
Yeah, everything getting smaller.
Yeah, nipples are getting like. There's no reason for men to have nipples, and also pinky toes. I think are kind of getting smaller. It's like
I barely have pinky toes.
You broke like your pinky bone. That's like on the outside, right?
Yeah, it's the fifth something of
metatarsal.
Metatarsal.
Or no, tarsals are your
second cousin of the
pedos.
Would you rather live in the wasteland or in a vault? Like in the time frame that we're talking about.
The wasteland.
The wasteland?
I know it's like I don't want to be a test subject.
But I was thinking about that because been replaying it. A lot of them are really messed up, but a lot of them don't know. It is just their reality.
I mean, it is like Plato's cave type thing, you know? Like we are just shadows. Like they are, if you're living in a vault, you're staring at you're believing in the shadow on the wall.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I don't know, with the knowledge that I have now, of course I don't want to be in a fucking vault. I want to be in the wasteland. I can actually be a human, Nish.
Being a ghoul seems pretty cool.
But for immortality and then...
I don't know. He's pretty impervious to shit.
Well, yeah, because he's a ghoul, but also he's got to fucking stay on drugs. Otherwise, he goes feral.
Yeah, but also, I don't remember them ever talking about a way out of that in the series.
No,
the game series.
Death.
So it was cool to add this... Oh, there's a way to prolong...
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like just... That's what the whole... thing is like ghouls were ostracized because they're a ticking time bomb. You never know when they're going to churn on you. But this gave it an actual kind of like longevity to, you could actually...
I think it's kind of brought up in one of the games.
I mean, maybe. I'm not saying it's not. I don't remember them ever really talking about it.
I think that might be something talked about in Fallout 4 because you get a ghoul as one of your companions. You get a couple of ghouls. There's a female ghoul.
And then that one dude, he's very... Hancock. That's his name.
No, Hancock was the robot, I thought. Oh, wait, no.
No, I think Hancock is he wears the hat. He's the leader of that kind of scoundrel town.
Yeah, but what's the robot, the detective?
Oh, Valentine.
Yeah, that's
Nick
right.
Valentine.
Nick Valentine, yeah.
The synth, yeah.
The synth.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I forgot synths.
Just so you know, I added to our calendar the update date. So if you want to put that back on there.
The update date?
Yeah, they're updating Fallout 4.
Oh.
They're adding like Enclave armor and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a little Enclave side quest.
Why can't we play Fallout 4 together?
We can play Fallout 76 together. But yeah, if you want to jump back on there, it's pretty fun.
Well, like I said, I need to get an external for it. Or I mean, I guess I could just upload it in my room.
I just realized
we are spiraling. People that are listening right now.
All right, let's stop. Sorry. Yeah, that was too long. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Hello.
Hi. This movie had me kind of reeling again.
Really?
In a weird kind of like, I don't know. The impending doom of the end of the world just like hits me really well in this movie.
Well, and so did its job.
Yeah, and then it kind of made me want it to happen.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. On that touching note, welcome back. This is TJ's mixtape. This is Tommy. That's Jacob.
I'm a person.
Welcome back. It's your first time. We are two friends that review movies. We talk about a little bit of the history of them, director, writer, who stars, and then we just kind of go through the themes of the movie and then end it off with a rating. Arbitrary rating that we do for ourselves and just kind of see how it feels.
I totally zoned out with everything you were saying right there.
That's fine. It's not for you. It's for them.
Yeah. I've realized over I don't know if anyone else has, if you're listening, I have just said under my breath, I'm a person for like at the beginning.
Oh, I've never.
I want to say like the last 4 episodes, and I was like, "What is happening?" To
We're
me?
dealing with some
Who am I?
existential.
Who am I convincing right now? Me or them?
Today, episode 186, we are reviewing 2012's Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. If you're unaware, the new Fallout series just premiered and is out and people are watching it, so we were doing kind of an end of the world block.
Yeah.
So last week we did The Road, and this week it is another end of the world movie, more of a dramatic comedy rom-com.
Yeah. This is one of my hidden gem favorites. Like, it's not one of my favorite movies of all time, but it's definitely like it's not very well known. I really like it.
Cool. Well, let's.
So I did enjoy it. Sorry. What's your citizen?
An asteroid hitting Earth, meaning impending doom, causing 2 people to hit the road to unite with loved ones.
That's a much better synopsis than what's on IMDb.
What is it on IMDb? I have it open right here.
Oh yeah, like it's just like misses the mark a little bit.
So on IMDb it says, as an asteroid nears Earth, a man finds himself alone after his wife leaves in a panic. He decides to take a road trip to reunite with his high school sweetheart. Accompanying him is a neighbor who inadvertently puts a wrench in his plan.
See what I mean?
Yeah. Like that sounds...
The first half is like, yes, and then the second half is like, well, yeah, but sure.
Yeah. That makes it kind of sound more like Due Date to me.
Right?
Like if you just swap out a couple of words,
Yeah.
you know, it's like...
And his neighbor inadvertently joins him and puts a wrench in his plan. It's like,
Yeah.
it wasn't really inadvertently. Like, he goes in for her. Like,
Yeah, and it's not even like really a wrench in the plans. It's kind
like
of
she's his plan in a weird way.
And the world ending is
it's
the
a
wrench. So yeah, it is kind of like it. Yeah.
Oh, so you had never seen this before,
No,
and so did you like it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really. I feel like it's kind of a 2-parter. Part 1 is one movie. Part 2 is another movie, and I feel like
That's
they
fair.
didn't
I can see that.
intertwine them very well.
It's also it's almost, and it's definitely quirkiness where you feel like separated enough, but then it feels way too real at moments.
Yeah, and it's because the first half is very just funny. It basically, I made a prediction about this movie and a few and was wrong on every single one because of the way the movie started.
Interesting.
And then the way it ended, I was like, well, because, you know, we'll get into that. But yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe with this conversation, I usually get to a final point. But right now I'm kind of teetering.
You don't know if you liked it. Did you enjoy the time with it?
I did enjoy. I enjoyed watching it.
Okay.
But like even when we get to the rating point, I'm not really sure yet.
That's kind of fair. I'm kind of like a little.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, I have thoughts on this movie, but I don't know if I have like a rate.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, let's get into... So this was released June 18th at the LA Film Festival of 2012, and then wide release June 22nd for the United States. How many movies did you see?
I had 35.
I literally went at 1. I went to 51.
The last time I looked, I looked at one of them previously, and it said I counted like 29 out of 200. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing for counting. Like what I was at the beginning here. What
Total Recall was the last
Frank
one.
and Robot was the one that I referenced, and that has 29. That's right. Total Recall. How did I count Total Recall?
I forgot Robot and Frank.
31. I counted 31 with Total Recall.
That was a good movie, Robot and Frank.
Yeah, this movie is kind of in that vein. I feel.
Yeah,
of like indie
kind of humor,
indie dark, subtle humor.
Yeah. What did you know? Writer. Writer. So our director and writer are the same
Who
person.
we've done before.
Yeah, which didn't know that until
that threw me through. I was like, what?
Lorene Scafaria. An American filmmaker, playwright, musician, and actress. Did 3 episodes of New Girl, Hustlers, which we did in episode 126.
Yeah, she wrote and directed Hustlers. That's why I was like, from we kind of maybe I may have brought it up back then when we did Hustlers, but like to see that she did Hustlers and then this movie and Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
She wrote
Nick and Nora. Yeah, wrote Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I'm just like, what?
I remember really enjoying that movie.
Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
the same kind of indie quiet. It's like it's weird though because it has that indie vibe, but it's a pretty star-studded.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people.
Well, before they were like super. I mean, I guess Michael Cera and Kat Dennings.
Well, I meant this.
Oh, this. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of on my honorable mention section is kind of ridiculous.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at least.
And I didn't write all of them down. I just wrote the ones I honestly could remember off the top of my head.
It was
But
there's a couple I just didn't write down.
Yeah. But yeah. So and I was inspiration for the title by Chris Cornell's song "Preaching the End of the World," which I did listen to, and I'm just not a huge Chris Cornell fan.
You really?
Mm-mm. Not solo. Not a solo.
Oh, that's kind of fair. Either Audio Slave or Soundgarden.
Yeah. Just because that style of music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's bad. I get why people like
he's
it.
an amazing vocalist.
But it's just I don't know. It's just not really my cup of tea.
That's fair. Also, the inspiration for this movie followed this time of when Lorene moved from New York to L.A. and like there was like a breakup that had happened, like a bunch of stuff was happening, and it's like right after 9/11. So like she kind of had this like sense of like the impending end of the world type stuff. And
she had the idea for Okay, I'm like, what?
The idea for this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a movie a decade in the making. I guess we can, because she wrote. It's really nice when we have these.
It's just quick.
It's just quick, and there's really not much to really divulge into this movie. It's just kind of like this is one of those movies that it's like it's presented. It was just kind of put out into the ether, for us to enjoy.
Yeah, it's kind of
and speculate a little bit with,
Yeah, it just kind of seems like it just happened.
Like the end of the world.
Yeah, it happened.
Like the pandemic did. And just one day, everything was shut off. Did I just send you through a spiral?
Not a spiral, but I was just yeah, that was interesting. Hey, good thing we had the internet.
Right. All right, so because like really, I feel like the starring is really what is the draw for this movie.
Yeah.
So it's our lead male actor is Steve Carell,
who plays Dodge.
Mm-hmm. And this is his first movie post The Office.
Yeah, right. After a long run there, what?
It has 7 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 or 7 seasons. Because obviously The Office is what he's like most probably known for, really. Or maybe Despicable Me for younger people. I don't know. But he's also in Space Force on Netflix TV show. Fucking great. Him and John Malkovich, absolutely fantastic.
Love that show.
40-Year-Old Virgin, like absolutely fantastic. He's hilarious in Anchorman.
I just watched Talladega Nights last night for the first time.
Really? Yeah. That movie's hilarious.
Yeah. And if you watch it, and if you know it well enough to the point where you don't really care, really watch the background.
Oh, yeah.
Because so much of that movie is ad-libbed, and they're losing it and just letting them run with it. You catch a lot of times them really trying to
just
keep
so people know why we're talking about Talladega Nights now, is because I brought up Anchorman, and Tommy thought of Will Ferrell, and then immediately thought about Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
So that's why from Steve Carell we're now talking about Talladega Nights.
I never noticed how much that they're just like, you can tell that like the background, Will Ferrell and Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
If you watch everyone behind them, they're like really like
Amy Adams is always just like on the verge of breaking.
Yeah, they're just really like trying to keep it together.
Steve Carell also Academy nominated for his performance in Foxcatcher with Channing Tatum. That's a really crazy movie based on a true story.
Oh, and kind of in this lane too, Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah. Oh, and also Dan in Real Life. What's the one that he did with Ryan Gosling?
The dating the daughter one.
Yeah, Love.
What is that called?
What is that name of that? Has Kevin Bacon in it too.
I don't remember. I remember that movie. It's kind of that's actually a weird rom-com for people that don't like rom-coms.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Kind of thing, you know.
I remember a person someone that had a film person I had a conversation with, and she was expressing that it's too much, that the movie is not bad, but it's too much through the male narrative, that you don't get enough of a female perspective in it.
Oh.
And I was like, that's an interesting.
That's
fair. I was like, that's very accurate, actually.
Yeah, it's about the father and the boyfriend, not the women involved with the father.
It's like how their lives affect like the women's lives are kind of more of like the sides to their
Crazy Stupid Love.
Crazy Stupid Love. I was like, I knew love is in the name.
Yeah, that would actually be interesting to rewatch with that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put this.
So Steve Carell is played Dodge, our one of our main actors, and then we have Kiera Knightley,
who plays Penny. I would say her big break was Pirates, right?
Easily.
Shot her into the
stratosphere.
Yeah,
and it's like, I mean, she had done what Love Actually was right before,
right after,
and she was Domino's during all of this. I'm trying to remember what
I liked Domino.
Bend It Like Beckham is what she had before.
Oh, when she was a baby.
Yeah.
I did remember liking Domino.
Did you know that's based on a true story?
Yeah, real bounty hunter.
I was like, what the and also like she's Domino is the daughter of like a famous British director.
Oh, I don't know.
I was like, no, I was reading about it. I was like, because I was looking at her stuff, and I saw Domino, and it was like based on a true story of turned bounty hunter, daughter of this, famed actor. I was like, what a bonkers fucking story.
Well, and I remember, we talked about when people, like how Kiss Kiss Bang Bang feels like a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah.
I remember Domino feeling like a Guy Ritchie movie.
Really?
Yeah, an attempt at a Guy Ritchie movie. I'd have to watch it. I haven't seen it in years, but
neither have I.
From what I remember getting that vibe. That real gritty. I don't know what that means, but if you know, you know.
What does that remind? What does that remind? Oh, fucking Jim Carrey again. When he's fighting Matthew Broderick and Cable Guy. You make that noise, and this is the second time I brought that up with you making that noise. But yeah, also like Keira Knightley, I wrote down. I was trying to just think of like what movies I've actually seen her in, other than Pirates and this and
The Jacket.
I don't remember her in The Jacket. I mean, Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Yeah, she's Natalie Portman's double.
She's the first princess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember her in that King Arthur movie.
Oh, with Clive Owen?
Yeah.
I forgot that happened.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there.
They need to stop making King Arthur movies,
dude.
For like a solid 20 years, we don't.
Or like follow the lore properly.
They're not going to, so just stop doing it. It's the same way I feel about Fantastic Four. Just stop making them.
Right. But yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting. Is like because of Pirates, she's just so like popular, and like I can't think of any. Like, there's really not much else I've really seen her in.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's like there's movies that I heard of, but I just never got around. Like The Duchess, is that what it's called?
Yeah, or Pride and Prejudice, Anna Karina.
I've seen Pride and Prejudice. I don't really remember it that well, though. But yeah, yeah, because then if you go way back to like the 90s and stuff, it's a bunch of TV miniseries and yeah. Anyways, yeah. But then just for shits and giggles, is
oh my god,
honorable mention time.
So this movie, it just had. We spend most of the movie with just Steve and Keira Knightley
and the characters they run into, basically.
Yeah. Because this is actually weirdly a road trip movie.
Yes, it is a road trip movie.
Yeah.
An impending doom road trip movie.
I mean, so to begin with, I do find it kind of amusing at the very beginning. The woman that runs out of the car with him
is his wife.
Is Steve Carell's actual wife, Nancy Carell.
I just happened to have paused it in that moment, and then her name came up, and I was like, "Oh,
I knew that." Yeah, because she's also a guest star on The Office, and she plays one of Michael Scott's love interests, and it's really.
Oh, really?
She's the real estate agent that he falls in love with after 2 dates.
Oh, and she's kind of weird too, right?
No, you're thinking of Holly.
Oh, that's something.
That's who he actually like
ends up with.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm not very versed in the
That's
Office.
I was saying, I was like, you haven't watched The Office.
I have, but I'm
Not as much as I have.
I'm not a member of the Office. You know what I mean? I don't work at the Office like some of these fucking people.
Yes, I just did a gym into the face.
I did.
The camera.
I don't hang out at the water cooler. I'm just trying to think of Office jokes now. I'm done. Okay. But yeah, that's Nancy.
All right, so we got Nancy Carell. I got Adam Brody. I got Rob Corddry. I got Connie Britton. And then comedians now. Amy Schumer. Patton Oswalt. TJ Miller. And then back into regular people. Gillian Jacobs. Melanie Linsky. Martin Sheen. Like anyone that I didn't know put out, you got it there.
Jim O'Heir, Derek Luke, Connie Britton.
I had said Connie Britton.
Oh, you did you?
Yeah.
That was hard to. Anyways, yeah, it's every bit part.
Yeah.
Every bit part is somebody, and even when they what was Jerry's name from Parks and Rec again? I'm totally blanking.
Oh yeah. Who's the cop?
Yeah. Where I just want to credit where credit's due. Him. I'm totally blanking on his name. I didn't write down actually who they were in the movie, and I don't know what his name is. No,
it wasn't like yeah. You have to find
anyways,
out.
he had a very Parks and Rec moment because when they see him, he spills his coffee and he goes, jeez. That's
well,
Jerry.
no, he goes in and he sees people are arrested, and he's like, God damn it, dude! Gee,
yeah, and it's just a very Jerry.
Yeah, very Jerry moment.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's fun. Jim O'Heir. That's Jim O'Heir. No, yes, Jim O'Heir.
So you did say Jim.
Yes, I was right.
Nice. Patton Oswalt has one of my favorite moments in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably honestly how I do it.
Right. I know, same.
Like, honestly.
He's like, a single guys have it the best. Just so much.
It's so gross.
When he's like, dodging roach sandwich in the kitchen.
Do you want to stuff that cookie with me? Double stuff that cookie. It's so gross. Do you want to stuff that cookie? It's just like, stop.
It's like, Karen brought heroin. Oh, I want to do some heroin. I want to. Someone put on Radiohead. I want to do heroin while listening to Radiohead. Like,
I just can't. And I think that's a testament to that two different melding thing. Mm-hmm. That humor, that anarchy.
Yeah,
defeatist kind of humor of the debauchery that is going to ensue at the end of the world.
Yeah,
and then it does this pretty hard pivot into this other thing, and that kind of bummed me out.
Like, what do you mean? What was the hard pivot? What do you mean?
When it started becoming more of a rom-com, it started becoming a romantic movie, which I was kind of like, I get that.
Like when the road trip kind of started to take off.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, to me, that loses.
That's interesting because I feel like that's the journey of that's more about the journey. It's like for the characters, like that's a reflection of where the character's journey went for this. And if you think about it, of what the title is, Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, it's going to start with the debauchery and then slowly get into like, well, fuck, it's about to end.
I get it, but it didn't need to end in a romantic way. It was seeking a friend.
Yeah, it's fair.
It's seeking companionship.
I have like questions about that as well, and like some notes that I kind of brought up with that because I think it's because of the impending doom that a lot of it becomes over exaggerated or whatever.
What?
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Give us our scores. Well,
you give me your scores.
Give us.
All right. So IMDb, this has got a 6.7, which is moderately, averagely high. And then Rotten Tomatoes is a little bit lower. It's got a 55% tomato meter rating and then a 53% audience score. And I really just like, for this, just like kind of get like mid-grade through and through, really makes sense to me. Because like I said, like I really enjoy this movie because I like its concept. I like the journey of the characters, but it's all in all, it's not like a fucking absolutely amazing Oscar, like not in depth, like know.
Well, yeah, and I've just realized too. I kind of want to make it clear, just to have it out on the record. We don't really, I don't think, I mean, kind of speaking for both of us, we don't really put a lot of stock into these reviews and everything like that. It's just also an interesting look into the time frame.
Yeah.
I just realized, because I just know that a lot of people like what do the critics know? And I kind of agree with that, but it's just a window into, because a lot of them are written at that time. So what?
Yeah.
And I just realized that I just want to make that clear that it's more interesting.
With the critics, I mean, I feel like it's nice to get to hear what the critics are saying. Yeah, because of the window, but also they are in somewhere like they're professional journalists that have a lens of knowing how to analyze things.
And also, I think that since we sit here and we discuss it, it does help sometimes to hone in.
Yeah.
On a thought.
It's also really nice when I hear Roger Ebert say the same shit that I said. So.
Do not say that on the microphone.
Yeah.
Do not say that.
Say it.
No. All right.
Say it.
We get in so much trouble.
Oh man! All right.
We would get so weird. Okay.
You're gonna have to tell me.
I'll tell you. Okay. So the reviews, 59 on so I use Metacritic just because it compiles everything. On Metacritic, it is a 59, which comes out to a mixture average with 21 positive, 12 mixed, and 3 negative. For the positive, I liked it. Short, sweet, simple. 91 out of 100 by Mark Mohan at the Portland.
91 out of 100.
Mm-hmm. Someone gave it 100 out of 100. I could read that too, but it's short too. Predictable, contrived, sappy, and ultimately, against all odds, remarkably fulfilling.
Interesting. Remarkably fulfilling is an interesting way to say what this movie ends.
Well, yeah, but just like the predictable, contrived, sappy, and ultimately fulfilling.
I guess so. Yeah, because it wraps itself up in a pretty white blast.
Yeah, it's just it ends and it doesn't. It becomes, and that's kind of the problem. It becomes this weird, over the top, sappy rom-com, which it didn't feel like the DNA. But we'll get more to that. I'm just curious though. So 100 out of 100, Tampa Bay Times by Steve Persall. It's more amusing than you might expect, but ultimately more touching than an eroding society around them deserves.
It sounds like he didn't want to give it 100 out of 100.
Yeah, it's weird how that... I wrote down another one, too. Oh, yeah, because this is kind of... so 70 out of 100 by Stephen Dalton at The Hollywood Reporter. With its sharp script and bittersweet humor, the audacious premise feels fresh enough to earn a large word-of-mouth audience among moviegoers who would normally avoid a more conventional rom-com, potentially becoming a left-field breakout hit in the mode of Juno or Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that made me kind of... It's very much in that lane, that world of that kind of humor,
There's a lot... This is around this time... the mid 2000s to the early aughts, like a lot of like weird offbeat indie movies are coming out like this.
Well, because what it did is
I feel like this year was also like Safety Not Guaranteed, like I said earlier, Robot and Frank.
Well, yeah, and it's like thinking of Juno too, is even though the whole, it really does take this rom-com element and then put something in it to turn it on its head.
Yeah.
In Juno, not only do we have a teenage pregnancy thing, but then you also introduce Jason Bateman's character, who then now is getting feels for a teenager. It just adds all these different elements that you would just never see in your traditional rom-com, but it's still kind of a rom-com because they kind of do end up together maybe, but it leaves it kind of open.
Oh, wait.
No, Sarah and Paige.
Oh, the Michael Sarah. I was like, Jason Bateman and her do not get together.
No. Sarah and Paige, they end it, and they're friends still, and there might be something romantic because they went through this experience together. But man, we should do that one day.
Juno?
Yeah,
I own it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
I haven't watched that in years. I'd love to see that again.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I watched it a lot.
Great soundtrack.
Wonderful soundtrack. Yeah.
Very 2000s.
Very much that. Yeah.
60 out of 100 at Movie Line by Allison Wilmore. combines a deviously traumatic, tragicomic. It's hard. This is take on the approaching annihilation of mankind with an irritatingly unconvincing and unnecessary love story.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then who do we got? The very last one. Washington Post. 38 out of 100 by Ann Hornaday at the Washington Post. A strange little movie. Unsure whether it wants to be quirky. Oh, yeah, that's why I picked this one. Okay. A strange little movie. Unsure whether it wants to be a quirky, sad-eyed indie pixie or a brassy, raunchy broad. It veers uneasily between the two, never quite settling into a comfortable or recognizable groove.
That review made me uncomfortable.
I know. I really just said, I read it because I wanted to say broad. I forgot about that word.
Check out that broad.
Check out that broad. I was like, oh, even in 2012, I didn't know we were still using that.
Yeah, right? Like, damn. 1972? 60s? What the fuck?
Yeah, see?
I think
the broad came in and broke my heart.
I mean, the biggest thing about this movie is how quickly you just have to accept the given circumstances.
Which was, in my opinion, the best possible way. It did not sit there and focus on the science of it or we have 3 weeks and it's all going to shit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And like, there's
like
even
that.
like a countdown in the movie where it's like 26 days left until whatever. But also you don't get there's no like, and this is a normal life. And then you hear that it's coming. It's the beginning of the movie is the radio call or on the radio, like there's an asteroid coming. We only have 3 weeks to live. Find your loved ones and whatnot. And then his wife just looking at him.
He's like, I can't spend another second with you.
Yeah. And runs, literally flees the vehicle. I remember it. I remembered the movie. How I remembered it was that they were driving and she jumped out while it was still moving.
That'd be funny.
But that's not, it's just, no, she just runs into the park and Steve Carell's just watches in disbelief because he's still in shock of what he just heard. But that's what I love about this movie is that it just immediately brings you into that. And there is no what was this world before this? Who were these people before this?
Well, it's also just, it was a good writing thing in the sense of by putting the whole thing on the radio and saying that the space shuttle they had sent up, something happened, there was an onboard fire and it exploded. It implies that we have known about this for some time to the point where they were able to get a mission together and launch towards the asteroid to deep impact Armageddon it or something. What we're assuming.
Bruce Willis was up there.
Yeah, Bruce Willis. You've seen the movie. He's been up there. He knows how to do this.
And Liv Tyler's down on her and praying for Ben Affleck.
Stupid son of a bitch. Just derailed me so hard. Oh, yeah. So it was a good writing tool in the sense of it's been enough time that this has now been the possible reality that we're in to the point where they could have done this mission that has now failed. It was a last ditch effort, so on and so forth. I just thought that was a funny way to kind of just throw us into the world. Didn't need all this backstory. Didn't need to see their life before.
Yeah.
And what it turns into.
Which I think is what is the most important thing for this movie is because this movie is a character journey. It's that through this time of impending doom.
Yeah.
This isn't like a commentary on how do humans react in this world. It's not like Don't Look Up, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, that's a good
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not.
It's not like making fun of it's like this person who has very much clearly lived, who you kind of as it unfolds, a very kind of just
safe, quiet life.
Safe, quiet, boring life, who is now questioning his own happiness in all his choices in life and whatnot.
Well, even the fact that he still goes to work, he follows the same routine when everyone else is kind of. Not everyone, but majority of the people.
And that's also a great thing. It's kind of watch the people that are just doing the routine.
Well,
and deciding to do that routine just for some sense of normalcy.
Yeah, and that's what I was when I saw that. I was like, I feel like some people would find comfort in that, the routine, the normal, it would create this thing of normalcy. But even that's in the beginning of the movie. The humor is just so much more my thing, and it just kind of gets lost towards the end. But even that's like they're sitting there at the meeting, and he's like,
some of the positions that have opened up,
and he's like, yeah, so and so in HR is no longer with us, and the woman just starts sobbing, and you're like, oh. Okay, like he's not with us. Got it. And yeah, and that kind of
these are some of the upper positions that have opened up. Chief Finance Officer, CFO.
Yeah. Like
anybody want to be the CFO?
They're starship trooping it. They're just skyrocketing everyone because no one's.
And then the party scene with the friends, like best friends. Well, no, actually, his moment with his cleaner.
Well, and I think she's actually the epitome of following the routine. Well, and then I was also curious. It sounds like at the end she says something about them being friends. I'm going to look at that.
Oh, like what she says in Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. It's like, yo quiero con amigos. I want with friends, but...
Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember the circumstance of it. Because I grasped what she said more or less, but I just can't remember the moment or the scene. Like, are you looking up like the script? What are you looking up?
I just
trying to. I don't know how you're trying. How you're gonna find that specific moment online?
Yeah, I don't know. It's the internet. Where'd you get that internet? Yeah.
But I mean, there is this like weird confusion with her characters. Like there's almost kind of like this joke of like, I don't want to say joke. If it is a joke, it's a very mean spirited joke of her like not understanding that the world is ending. So she's just doing it because she doesn't speak English very well. But then it's like, or is this like, she's just the epitome of that just routine, do the job. Like, I'll see you next week. See you next week, Dodge. Mr. Dodge. More windows.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could infer it a couple of ways, too, because there was a moment when they're talking that she also caresses her crucifix.
Mm-hmm.
So I could also, I mean, as a devout, good Christian, the end of the world, she's going to heaven. It's rapture, you know what I mean? So you could also make it that, or she's not really worried about the end of the world because her and her family are fine. I mean, you can kind of infer it a couple different ways.
Yeah.
It could be that the English second language joke, which kind of feels a little lowbrow for this.
It does, but it's also like, it's just not clear. That's why, like, it's like that those interactions kind of like, when you have unclear stuff like that, that's kind of where I'm like, this is something that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah. It's weird though, because I feel like it's usually reversed with us in this particular kind of, I'm very much always the don't make me infer, just tell me what's going on kind of guy. But with this, and maybe it's because it is really dialogue and it doesn't really change anything about the outcome.
Fair.
As opposed to like Inception.
Because I think it's because it's a joke, and like jokes should be clear, cut, and clean, not like infer.
Yeah, but it's like because it's so dialogue based too. Like that's an interesting. It's kind of funny that this really quick moment we're kind of sitting
dissecting.
Yeah, but it's like it kind of is a good way of looking at some of the humor of it too, because I like that. It's like it could be this kind of lowbrow. She doesn't speak English, or it could be this is her way of coping. It's just this normalcy, or like I said, I don't know. There's something about her touching her cross.
I didn't pick that up
while they're talking about it. There's almost kind of like this I have faith moment to me. But again, I could just be reading into.
I mean, you
nothing.
have more faith than I do, so I wouldn't notice anything like that because I don't have any religious.
I don't really. No, I just.
You have more than me. Trust me.
Well, I'm also I've always been fascinated by religion and religious ideology and stuff. So.
And by fascinated, for me, it's more like I'm fascinated in wanting it to be gone.
It's not going anywhere, dude.
I know.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Damn. All right.
It's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on from that.
Yeah, let's move on from that, obviously. Fuck you. Here.
Choked on my spit.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing in that about this movie is the we're talking like, and even like the critics were like this like rom-com nature of it, and it's interesting because like, so how Keira Knightley and Steve Carell meet pretty much is like she's breaking up with her boyfriend and she just crawls up the fire escape next to his window, and then he invites her in. She's like, if you what'd you say?
You're gonna have to bleep it.
I won't say it then.
Just do it. Just bleep it.
I'm not gonna bleep it.
Oh, well, then don't say it. You're not gonna bleep it. I don't want to fucking hear about it.
Pretty much, they have their weird meet cute. You get introduced her into her character. I mean, that's what it is.
No, I know. It's just funny to call it that.
Call that a meet cute.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, I guess you're right, technically, but all right.
You discover that she has this thing called hypersomnia, which
I never heard of, and it's a totally real thing.
It's a real thing, but that's not what the way that it's done in the movie is not actually what it is. I read into it.
I did too. What do you mean? You just can't wake up?
That's not what I was reading about hypersomnia. Hypersomnia is
it's like you sleep you just sleep during the day, no matter how much sleep you get.
Yeah, you're constantly like fatigued, exhausted, and whatnot. It doesn't say anything specifically about it being almost impossible to wake up.
Oh, I see that specific that you sleep through.
Yeah,
the apocalypse.
Yeah,
you sleep through Armageddon. I see.
Yeah,
I was like, that's pretty close. I mean, she was sleeping pretty heavily.
Yeah. So there's this whole thing about in the movie that's brought up is like opposites attract, and they couldn't be much more polar opposite of people. Like she's a little bit more go on the whim type personality, and he's very structured, depressed type guy. But it's like they would have never met if the world wasn't ending, for one. And which is kind of like an endearing thought
they
about
have
that.
Met, but just in a very passing neighbors thing.
Yeah. But like they would have never like met like this if the world
she
wasn't
had his
ending.
mail for 3 years.
Yeah. And then also, but if the world wasn't ending, then even if they did meet, would they have ever found comfort in each other? Like, in a way, this is like the reason why it turns into this rom-com thing is because of just like a proximity romance type thing. Proximity relationship.
I think that's kind of the issue, because there is this big thing that when they meet, when she's on the fire escape crying, she is having this realization that she has always put these guys that she used to know ahead of her family.
Yeah.
And now
like the fucking dude to the fallout shelter. That was creepy.
Yeah, they kind of really... That felt like it was going to go somewhere, and it didn't.
It almost... I was like... Ah!
That felt like it was going to be a pretty big plot point, but it kind of just took care of itself. And I think that's kind of the problem, is she has this whole breakdown about how she's always put all these guys in front of her family. And
Adam Brody was so funny with it, too. Sorry.
And they just have this whole thing, her plan of finally meeting her niece and nephew and playing with them and sitting in her dad's garden one more time to look at the sun. It's this really pretty moment of just these things that the ultimate comforts, like when you're sick and eating your ultimate food that your mom or dad or your guardian or whoever made you when you were sick, it's that. And I really liked that. And then the way that they end it with this rom-com thing, it kind of loses, like... I just think that this movie should have just been about companionship, not about romantic. And that is something they could have left to infer if it went a romantic way, maybe in one of their minds or both or whatever. But like to slather it on there so quick, it's kind of ruined to the point of the movie of like just finding someone to spend the end of the world with doesn't have to be romantic. It can just be love. Doesn't have to be that, And I just
I think like for me, like even though there is romantic parts of the relationship or the companionship that builds for them, I always just saw it as like just companionship in general.
Yeah, I don't know.
But but it's also then they kind of end up making, he realizes that he would rather spend the rest of his times with her, but he also wants to get her back to her family. Also, her flying across the ocean
in the pond jumper.
Yeah.
In that little pond jumper.
Yeah, is so like unrealistic.
Eat the carrot. I thought that too, and I was like, I'm not even.
And then also, these are like two moments where you really just got to eat the carrot. It's like she wakes up when they're like wherever above the water, and convinces him to turn around. Where did they land that plane in Massachusetts for her to get back to their apartment complex quick?
In L.A.
Yeah, in L.A. I thought they were
in L.A.
No, they're in Massachusetts.
I thought they were in L.A.
No, because they're by Cambridge.
Oh yeah, why did I think they're in L.A.?
I have no idea.
I don't know where I got that from.
Yeah, no, they're fucking in New England.
Oh, I thought they were in L.A. for some reason.
Which, yeah, so a little bit more. I'm gonna fly from L.A. to England in this little fucking plane.
Well, no matter, like that's something that people that don't live here in the States don't realize. I feel like they don't understand how big America is.
Oh, 100%.
Like there's big it is.
So many stories of people like that like moved from Europe and are living here and have family. Like, yeah, so we were thinking about we were gonna come see you in New York, and then we were gonna go down to Miami and go down to Universal Studios, and then we were thinking about going checking out Dallas, Texas. And they're like, how long here? Like 3 days. You're doing one of those things, buddy. Like,
yeah. Oh, they're in New York. I don't know why.
Oh, okay, New York.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought LA. But yeah, you're like, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a fucking thing.
It's like because Europe, the continent, is like it would fit like 2/3 in the United States.
Well, no, it's like in 45 minutes you can get to multiple different complete countries, languages, and cultures. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was back to we're not USA. I'm just saying like just this little plane he has in his fucking backyard.
Yeah.
And maybe someone that's out there is more
I think it could make the flight.
Maybe someone that's more into aviation could be like, actually, that's a thing.
The more ridiculous part of it for me is like the turnaround, and then how did she get that's kind
of back to the city so quickly?
Yeah, you know.
Well, because also like something that's another thing that kind of bugged me too is like you almost forget about this countdown that we have going on because there is no real sense of urgency to the characters. It's really just this road trip, and which is fine.
Yeah.
If there wasn't an end goal, like if they were just kind of like, well, let's spend time. I don't know, like we have nothing else to do. Why sit here and let's go see stuff, or you know what I mean? Make it a.
Well, I mean
It's like we're trying to do certain things. Let's pick it up, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Yeah, but also it's like they think and that there's still time. They have 2 weeks to kind of get all of this figured out.
Yeah, but I mean, you know how it works. 2 weeks is not very long.
No, it's not. But also, like once you get it figured out, then you're with then like he would be with his high school girlfriend, and she would be with her family, and maybe they have a couple more days left together. But obviously, we find out that there's only 16 hours, blah, 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 that it's miscalculated.
We're actually, now that I'm thinking about it, just because Keira Knightley's English, we're assuming that did they ever say where they are? They could be in the States.
No, because she has to fly across the pond.
Is that what she said?
Yes.
I don't remember her saying that.
No, the guy, when he's like, yeah, I got the satellite phone. I was talking to your pa across the pond the
right.
other day.
Okay, cool. I was like, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, we're just good.
And she also says where she grew up, where her family
is.
but
she could have grown up there. Doesn't mean, I just was like, I didn't remember them specifically saying England or, you know what I mean? But yeah, the pond thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh yeah, we're talking about how big it is. They could just be in another part of the country.
Yeah.
But you do acknowledge the fact that it doesn't feel like there's any urgency, which I feel like there should be a little bit of urgency.
I think it's also like the urgency isn't necessary because it's also this sense of defeatedness. Like,
I guess two sides of the same coin: defeatedness or acceptance.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, if there's a way to go out on a mass scale kind of thing, asteroid ain't bad.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it'd be quick.
That's what I'm saying. I guess it kind of depends on where you are.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to be on the tail end of that. You'd want to be kind of in the epicenter of it.
Yeah.
To really just call it a day.
And, and also, I mean, yeah. Like, well, I'll get there in a second. I want to finish my thought of God damn it, the journey, the urgency. Oh, the thing of when it's they have these goals, but then they kind of realize that it's more about like it's gonna end right now. Like they found their solace, like for Dodge when he was at the house of his old high school girlfriend. It's kind of like he gets there and he realizes like it's not really that I want to be with her, it's more of the idea that I want to be with her. I just want to be with somebody, and I have somebody here.
Yeah.
So, and we've grown an attachment. We've grown really close to each other because of this impending doom. They've now like found this connection.
Yeah.
And then for her, she has that moment on the satellite phone, and so she's kind of found that solace. Like, you know, I've closed that. I've talked to them. They're not going to be okay, but they're going to be okay.
Because they're with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get all that. It just feels really slathered on and not in a neat way.
There's just like with that, the last moments of them in the bed together are, I think, just one of the most like well acted moments in this entire movie as well.
I agree with that. I just don't like the dialogue.
But it's 5, 4, like they're just, let me just comfort you. I'm gonna just find a way to comfort you. I'll be here for you.
Yeah,
we'll just be here for this moment. I mean, I teared up again watching it. You know, it's like I just, when that bright light comes and it overtakes them, it's fucking devastating.
So get now that we have told the end of the movie, and kind of late, but I think we both recommend, if you've never seen this, don't listen to it. The more you know. So like one of my predictions for the end of the movie, which again, the prediction I had, in my opinion, wholeheartedly 100% fits with the beginning of the movie. But then by the time we get to the end of the movie, it's shifted so much that my prediction doesn't make any sense. I thought that we were going to have this whole ordeal and this whole thing, and the asteroid was going to miss. And then everyone is now in the shambled remains of everything that they destroyed because they had this fuck it, like we can do whatever we want. And I thought that was going to be hilarious because then Dodge and Penny have now learned this lesson about accepting things you can't change, this companionship that, you know, they kind of went through all the stages of grief. Yeah. And now they're given a new lease on life. But then you look at everyone else and it's just completely destroyed. And that would have been
Tree's character.
Yeah.
Like, can you fucking chop any louder?
And that would have been really funny.
Yeah.
And that fits with the beginning of the movie. It doesn't fit with the end of the movie. The second half. Yeah.
I see what you mean. Like it could fit into this kind of style of humor, but the sense of just like how everything is derailing. That would have been kind of like that's a sick joke. Like,
yeah, that would have been really funny.
It's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia type.
Twisted.
We're not gonna fucking die. What?
It would have been like the
oh my god, there's
that scene in Galaxy Quest when they turn off the bomb and they're about to have this Jason, and it's counting down and then they hug and then it stops at 1 and they're like, oh yeah, in the show it always stopped at 1, so they designed the bomb to stop at it. It's like that kind of humor. And I was like, that would have been pretty funny.
Fuck.
Like they're embracing each other, getting ready that moment, and then it just. And the scientist had just misgauged it by a couple inches or whatever. I just thought that would have been funny. And I was like, that's my prediction. And I did not. 1,000% didn't think they were going to end up together because I didn't feel like that was the vibe of the movie. And
that's the thing is like, it doesn't feel like the vibe of the movie. And I think like, again, like the only reason, and I think this was kind of one of those things, Lorene, as she was writing it, was probably just making those discoveries as she was writing it. You know,
it kind of does feel like that. I know,
which is a fine thing to do.
It's fine.
You know?
Yeah, we've seen it work and we've seen it not work. This is kind of in the middle ground for me.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's because these two people that like.
And I really did like Keira Knightley in this.
She's absolutely fantastic in this. I
fell in love with her when she's talking to the cop.
Oh,
considering the whole,
yeah,
you know, I was like. Oh, and what's up with the 2000s and fucking records? That wasn't really...
It's still a thing.
I know, but I mean, God, every goddamn indie movie, it's all about the goddamn records.
Just wait, in the 2040s, it's going to be all about CDs.
I don't. Is it?
I don't know.
This just has such a fuller sound to this plastic disc. You know, I don't know. It's like I get.
It's a lot cleaner with a digital imprint, man.
It's like I get the logic with the vinyl. Like I understand the
Yeah.
idea of the physical and the groove. I get the science behind it, but fucking every goddamn movie in the 2000s.
It's the quirky.
I eat my dessert first.
Yeah, it's the quirky thing. Yeah, she's definitely got some manic pixie dream girl DNA in her.
Yeah, but it also, I feel like they flushed her out a little.
Oh,
bit
100%.
more.
Yeah. I'm not saying that she is one.
No, yeah. But it's like they did give her a little bit of that DNA, but then still made her feel like a person.
I mean, it's kind of a stock thing of like the stuffy dude who's given up on life or is lost in life,
meeting this free spirit.
It's free spirited girl who's going to free the panda from the zoo, and they're going to keep it. You know, never mind. It's a Brett Morin joke.
Okay, I was like, all right, this is where we get to panda in this.
Her name's Summer, and we know that's not her real name.
But yeah, no, her playing Penny she was very charming.
I think like their names are very fitting as well. You know, Dodge. You know, what has he been doing his
Dodging
entire
his life? Yeah,
and Penny is kind of like, you know, a sweet, you know, I don't know. It's just like a sweet person's name. Or like a penny.
When you find a penny face up, it means good luck.
Oh no, it's a like a penny. There's a flower that begins with penny. Penny.
For your thoughts,
penny tulip.
Sure.
I don't know.
A good old penny tulip.
Fuck you.
I don't think that's a thing.
I don't. It's
maybe.
Not.
Watch. I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Oh shit!
What the fuck happened to your foot?
I don't know. Oh, it just happens randomly.
Okay.
I think it's healing, so just every now and then.
It's just like.
Yeah, officially, I have broken thy foot.
Yeah, he's got a fracture.
It fucking hurts. Try not to take anything for it.
Like no ibuprofen or anything?
Because I want to know.
Because you're a man.
I'm a goddamn man. No. No, because I want to know, since I am walking on it, I want to know if I do, because there's a possibility to make it worse.
I mean, yeah, if you take like extreme painkillers, like if you take just like 600 milligrams of ibuprofen, it's just gonna like
I've been avoiding taking that stuff forever.
Yeah, I know, and it blows my fucking mind. Anywho, we're talking
druggy.
I'm heroin Bob, all right? God.
Jacob, what could go with Jacob?
Junkie Jacob. Yeah, I was like, this is easy, bud.
Yeah, I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, and I think that this movie is very fine. It's very fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, sometimes you hyper focus on stuff, and that whole not melding into it just didn't. And maybe people will completely disagree with me, but it didn't feel like it melded into this.
I think it devolved into that, especially with, you know, as the impending doom, that just this realization is like,
That's what it is. Go ahead.
The impending doom, this realization of just like, maybe I just do want to spend my last couple moments, you know, like times with just this person that I now feel very comforted with.
And you said that's my problem. See, we're getting there. We got to talk it through. It feels disingenuous to me.
Fair.
Because of the impending doom thing. And this whole, like, they're laying in bed and saying the Penny, you are the love of my life thing. That just feels disingenuous because it feels like trauma bonding. Which it is.
It is.
Which
that's 100% what it is. Which what better drug before you die is to bond over trauma?
Totally. Fine. I'm totally agreeing with that. But the fact of over making it romantic is my only thing.
The romanticization of that?
Yes. If it had just been companionship with this person that you've spent your last few living hours. It is
companionship.
I know, but the whole
with sex.
Because even then, that too, that whole thing of them having sex and him getting weird about it and her being like, I'm 28. It's the end of the world.
I told you I want you.
It's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Her just being kind of like, can you stop?
That's also kind of a reflection of him still kind of like not being able to let go of like of the past and with the world that's
what that's like kind of my point is like, and then with this, it's kind of like, yes, we're in this different era. We're at the end of the world. We're at Armageddon. Like, let it go. And then they take all these like things that we're learning, and then they completely backtrack. So everything she said
Yeah.
Even then, that whole thing of like,
well, you also got to think like, how much do you know that fucking place drugged them with ecstasy?
well, yeah, I mean that's what the mudslides. That's what you're talking about, T.J. Miller. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gillian Jacobs. Yeah,
which is one of the funniest scenes.
it's so fucking funny.
They're just so like,
oh man, y'all, your hair. Oh, it's a wonderful time in here, man.
yeah, that's a funny scene. But that's what I think is like, there's these moments that I think just ended up backtracking, and it's like and that's what it is. We were almost there. We were almost there to this final. She's upset to taking all these random dudes that never became anything. He settled for his wife. You know,
he took the safe route.
And
he sold insurance.
Yeah, you know, so it's like we're learning all these things, and it's kind of like this bittersweet of like we're learning these things, but at the end, what's the point? Which is kind of this idea you can have about it. But I liked that kind of like before you die, you really do learn about yourself with the companionship and the help of this other person.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, now it's about the other person. You know, it's no longer about their journey and them becoming at peace with who they are and everything. It is now linked romantically between the two. And that's my issue with it, because it feels like it just loses a lot of oomph. To me, you know.
I mean, that's fair, yeah.
That's just to me. Like if they really, and you know,
I just felt like it was just part of the journey.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. It's just I didn't like that end of the journey, which is who the fuck am I? Who cares? But it's also I'm the one.
It's like, what would you be doing at the end of the world, Tommy?
A lot of drugs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Honestly,
it was like the amount of there's just like
not be sober.
It's like the anybody that I've ever had a crush on, I would probably just be like, hey, do you want to go have sex? Just like very honestly, just like it's like we got a week to live. Do you want to go
double stuffed that cookie?
No, dude. Like now,
so I would become a complete drug addict, and you become a sexual deviant. Great.
What do you want to do with that banana? Let's see where it goes.
Well, it's just like, you know, but that kind of goes back into what I was saying about that's a funny ending. It's like now you just got a bunch of heroin addicts and very different dark movie.
That's a very different movie, yeah.
But that's kind of where I thought it was leading.
It
did end sweeter, which I did like.
Yes.
It didn't end in this real fucking downer.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
ended sweet.
Yeah. Them comforting each other, like regardless of like how you're talking about, like, you know, the trauma bonding, whatever. It is very much it's in a way what I feel like if the world was ending right now, what we all kind of would want is just that.
That's a good way of putting it.
You know what?
Just that it's not how I think it would go, but ideally that would be the best.
I would want someone being there holding me, telling me I love you.
Because as we've seen from human beings, a very violent, panicking creatures, you know? So it's like this whole situation, and we kind of got an idea of, you know, the camaraderie at the beginning of Shutdown and then kind of what it turned into.
Yeah.
And
this is a very interesting movie to watch post the Shutdown.
But now you're talking about, like, for sure you have a timeline for the end. And
that's the cathartic moment, the catharsis of the movie is that the world does end, but we see it end in beauty and in love and in compassion.
The road is how it actually would go, and this is how we want it to go.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. So it's kind of interesting in that way.
Actually, I wanted to go like Fallout, honestly. So
you wanted to go like Fallout?
Yeah, dude. Let's get some ghools.
I know, but that's also like if it happened right now, you're dead. It's 200 years in the future, unless you
put me in a vault. All right, I'll break out
the cryogenic vaults.
Yeah. I'll be an overseer.
Be careful, everyone. He also just said he'd be a sexual deviant. Too much power.
What do you want me to do with that banana?
I've been reading a lot about the different experiments in the vaults, and I forgot how some of them are so fucked up.
We are over an hour right now.
Oh, we are? Oh, I guess so. Yeah. I thought I was timing it right. I guess not. Yeah, I get that's kind of it. I mean,
I think I know what the rating is.
All right, well, convince me.
A 3.
Just a solid 3.
Yeah,
good for what it is.
I mean, because as much as I personally do enjoy this movie,
what would you give it?
A 3.
Just you personally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Critically, I mean, because like it's
good. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's not
I mean, maybe a 4 for me technically because of the way that I really enjoy watching the character exploration. Patton Oswalt gives it a 0.5 plus right there.
Wow.
No, I'm joking.
For his 2-minute long stuff in the cookie.
30 seconds. Yeah. Also, Melanie Linsky, like, did you realize that she's the one that left the note on his door when he comes back? That was just coming by to see if you're still, just coming by to say hi. Guess you're not home, Karen. It's also like when she looks at him, she's like, and hoping to spend some extra time with someone getting to know.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
he's just so uninterested.
Also, Connie Britton throws herself at me like that. I don't know if I don't know if I could stop that.
The redhead, right?
Connie Britton?
That's her name, Connie Britton?
Yeah. I guess she is redhead, yeah. I think she's...
Yeah. What do you think she was?
It's like a blonde brunette. I kind of see
I don't know.
that.
It's pretty coppery to me.
I'm now registering that.
Yeah.
But like, no, I think she's absolutely like gorgeous.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah. And just like when he's like, no, you're Warrens. And she's like, we're nobodies anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's
well, also just don't say that to anyone.
Also, you're like, she's not property, bro.
Yeah, I think that Melanie Linsky is the cutest thing on the face of the planet.
She is. That's why I've had a huge thing for her for a long time.
And she was great in Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, she's absolutely fantastic in Yellow Jackets. Yeah.
Don't fuck with her.
No.
She'll eat you. So it's funny because the last thing I think of when I think of her, I think of Ever After. Mm-hmm. And then it's either that, which then I thought of Ever After because she's younger. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, where's Yellow Jackets? Those are very polar opposite characters. Well,
even like her in But I'm a Cheerleader.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot we talked about her.
She's also in Don't Look Up, I just realized.
Oh, funny.
She's Leonardo DiCaprio's wife that he abandons pretty much. Anywho.
All right, 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I say 3. It's an interesting watch. It's a watch.
Yeah, and and like I think that a couple of the reviews were saying that too. It is actually a pretty good rom-com for people that don't like rom-coms.
Yeah,
because it does end.
It's not a traditional rom-com.
It's not.
I, in a weird way, don't even really consider it much of a rom-com
until the end.
Yeah,
it's the last half an hour that it really like slaps it on there.
In a weird, it's kind of just turns into its own road trip movie, which turns into a rom-com, a rom-dramata. A
rom-com-esque.
Yeah.
You know, it has that feel to it. But yeah, I'd say a solid 3 out of 5 because it's good. I mean, I don't particularly feel like Steve Carell and Keira Knightley really had that much chemistry, to be honest. I didn't really feel it.
I kind of feel like that's the important thing about it as well. Is they find because the chemistry that they do find it's because it's two
trauma bonding.
It's two people that would never be together
are now deciding to be together.
You know,
yeah. I mean that's fair, I guess.
But both of them absolutely fantastic performances as well.
It's one of those. This happens a lot with this too. I'm going to be thinking about it pretty much until we start getting ready to do our next movie, and then I'm going to think about a bunch of stuff I want to say, but you know. So, thank you for listening. We gave it a 3 out of 5. This was Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. Are we committed to what we're doing next week, or I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure we are. Monkeys.
Yeah.
Monkey.
Monkey.
Monkey Man.
Oh, Hey Arnold.
Was that Hey Arnold?
Monkey Man?
What was the Dexter one? Dial M for monkey?
I think it was just Monkey. I think they just called him Monkey.
Yeah.
He was like the space monkey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Dexter's monkey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. And then he became a superhero.
Yeah, but there was a thing. There was a catchphrase.
Yeah, I'm sure there
jingle.
was. No, but Monkey Man was
Hey Arnold.
Yeah. So we were thinking about next week. We're the new Planet of the Apes.
Kingdom Planet is coming out.
Of the Planet of the Apes is coming out.
We definitely have to see that in theaters.
Yes. So we're big fans of that. So we thought we would go back and check out the original one, the 70s. I don't even know what year.
68.
68. Jeez.
It's going to be the oldest movie we've done.
Yeah, so we're going to do that and kind of take a look at that. And then we're going to follow the following week with Tim Burton's 2001 Planet of the Apes and kind of compare the two and see where the franchise came from, where it went, and where it's going now. So if you're a Planet of the Apes fan,
I'm excited. We're
going to kind of do a little retrospect looking back into it because I've never seen the original. Tim Burton one I remember seeing. I remember people panning it, and I'm just curious if it's as bad as everyone thought it was.
And I'm kind of in a reverse, although it's since I was a child, I haven't seen the OG Planet of the Apes, but I've never seen the Tim Burton one.
Oh, fun. Yeah. That works out.
But that's why I was trying to sell it to you. You just didn't want to watch too much apes.
Too much football, too much Star Wars, not too much monkeys.
Those were 4 movies, it's only 2.
But yeah, so follow us on Instagram for all of our promotions and know what's coming up next. Our link tree is on all of our posts. Just click on that and you can find all of our links to Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We are, if you're listening, we do a channel on YouTube if you want to watch it. Like, subscribe, comment. If you think we're totally off base with this movie, please let us know. We always would like your feedback. Self-produced podcast, so any ratings or comments will help us get it out there. Tell your friends if they like movies. And I think that's it. This is Tommy.
Jacob.
That is Jacob. Need wood? This is Tommy and
Jacob's mixtape.
All right. Bye, y'all.
I am a person.